Hi guys, and welcome back to Scrybe Gaming. I'm your man Scrybe, and I hope your day is going rather well. It's a nice Sunday afternoon, and I figured it's about time I caught up on some SWGoH news. Let's go have a look at this latest data mine, shall we? Let's get into it. So before we get started, I'd like to give a quick thank out to the good folk at SWGoHEvents.gg because they were responsible for getting all the information out of this data mine, and it's got some real good stuff. We've been given 10 different maps or event locations that are going to be part of the Galactic Challenges events. Now you can see 5 of them in the background here. We've got Bespin, where we'll probably see some Cloud City action. We've got the Deathstar. Now I don't know if this is going to involve a 2-phase attempt. Is it going to be a ship-based event and then we go in with ground forces? Don't know. We already know there are several different tiers to this event, and CG have already said that they want to try and involve the entirety of our roster in these events, so it could well have a ship battle phase to this. We've got Hoth, Coruscant, and Jakku. Okay, so Hoth we've already seen a lot of with the light side GOTB, and we saw a little bit as well in Jedi Knight Luke's event, so I'm wondering if we're going to revisit some of those areas. Is now Mon Mothma going to be a useful character for these Galactic Challenge events? Coruscant as well, big city. I guess we might well see a lot of the Jedi Council stuff there. Maybe we'll be seeing, Galactic Republic rear its head there as being the faction that we need to use. I imagine that's quite likely. And then we've got Jakku. Now Jakku, I can imagine we'll be using characters such as First Order, such as Resistance, Scavenger Ray, OG Finn, that sort of team, Okay, so let's take a look at the second lot of locations. Now we've got Camino. Maybe we are going to see stuff with fighting Django or clones. Don't know. Malachor, that's obviously going to be very, very Sith-based. Space. Now, space to me is a bit of a no-brainer. That's clearly going to be a ship-based event. Now, I personally think that this space area for Galactic Challenges is probably going to be the only ship-based event. The only other one that I can see is most likely to have a ship-based tier or event to it is going to be the Deathstar. So we know for certain 1 out of 10 of these challenges is going to be fleet-based. I have a feeling it's only going to be this one because they know community sentiment around fleet battles is not exactly in a good place, so they probably want to minimize it. Because we know that these events aren't going to be changing out too quickly. We're going to have, I think, 4 or 5 week rotations on these events. So yeah, they probably don't want to do too many fleet. Then we've got Takodana and Tatooine. So Tatooine, we're obviously going to see some OG trilogy stuff. Okay, but that's not the only thing that was found in this data mine. We've also got a list of factions. Now, we'll take a look at it in a second, but the original post put out by CG did mention that this is going to be a faction-based event. I believe it was CG Top Hat that put out the post on Galactic Challenge during the Road Ahead back in June, the end of June. So, what we do know about this, these are you can see we've got the Sith faction, Bounty Hunters, First Order, Galactic Republic, Galactic Empire, Old Republic, Rebels, Resistance, and Separatists. Now, I think it's quite clear to see that each of these events are going to be restricted to these factions. Either that or these factions within your roster are going to have benefits to particular events. So it is really sort of expanding the breadth of what you can use in your roster. I do have a few concerns though. I am a little bit worried that when these events drops, if you are a younger roster, for example, and you don't have, for example, First Order geared up, too early game, and you decided you didn't want to do First Order, you decided to go down a path to unlock Padme, so you went down Separatists. Is this going to be a 5-week period, 4-5-week period, where you can't interact with the Galactic Challenge at all? Like, are you going to be gated because you do not have these characters, or are you going to be at a severe disadvantage because you do not have the positive modifiers from using these factions? We'll have to wait and see. So when it comes to modifiers, as I was just talking about, we have been... let me get my face out of the way. Here we go, we'll put me up here. Okay, so we do have a number of icons, and they have got tags in them based on this data extract. So we've got a generic faction. I'm wondering if that hopefully means that it's a faction that does not relate to the area. So say it's a say you're on Hoth and you're supposed to be using, you know, the rebels, or maybe it's going to be the new rebel fighter tag, but you don't have them. So instead you decide to use your Old Republic Jedi. Maybe there's a benefit from a generic faction bonus. Then you've got generic location. How are these going to interact? You know, they're going to be. They did state that they were going to be rotating these modifiers to change the challenge, so people can earn rewards and test the puzzle, as it were. There's also generic uncategorized. I'm not sure what this one might be. We've got one for faction, one for location. I'm not sure. Maybe that's just a universal modifier that they're going to add. Then there's going to be a negative modifier, a neutral modifier, and a positive modifier. Now, they did state, if we go and have a look real quickly over here, let's move my face out of the way again. Let's go down here. Okay, so I believe somewhere in here, they did notice, yeah, here we go. Modifiers. Enemy modifiers are tied to the enemy faction, so Imperial troopers might have a positive modifier, like we could see before with that green diamond, a positive modifier called Imperial Assault that gives them offense up, but a negative modifier, that red one, called Pew Pew, that makes them hit less, which is actually really funny naming. Player modifiers can also be positive or negative and apply to the player's units, and the different environments and enemy factions and combat modifiers, positive and negative, combine to create a fresh and interesting challenge. Okay, so what we can see if we go back and look at these modifiers, and move my face out of the way because I've obviously planned this rather poorly, apologies for that. What we can see from this is these three modifiers are going to apply to both your team and the enemy team, and they're going to mix and match them. So they're going to have, well, it seems like the modifiers for enemies are going to be around the faction, which is most likely going to be tied to the planet. I imagine they're going to be thematic planets, and you'll see enemy factions there. But they're going to mix and match these modifiers, and they're going to also apply to yourself. So it should make for quite a bit of fresh content. Okay, so there is one other thing that we do have here, and that's this weird little UI icons. Now, I can see this based on the colors here, these, you know, these green boxes, blue boxes, red boxes. I can see these actually being just pop-up boxes that will show the various modifiers for the events, or maybe there's a special bar that fills along one side of the game, or something like that. So I think you can see a lot of the galactic Grand Arena icons here for, you know, Bronzium, Erodium, Kyber, all that sort of good jazz, and you can see a couple of the characters from the Cantina up there as well. So I imagine these UI icons will come into play in some way, but they're probably not going to affect the gameplay too much. Only those little boxes, I think, are going to be either modifiers that you can select, or just to display the modifiers that are in the battle at the time. So I think it's quite interesting stuff that we're going to see in this this new update. What I can say, well, actually, let's quickly go back over here. Let's quickly go back, and let us go ahead and check out this page again. So, yeah, so they're saying here that they're working out the details. This is back in June, but their intention is for the Galactic Challenges to offer an appropriate challenge for wherever you are in the game. There will be multiple tiers of increasing difficulty that players can attempt to earn rewards, but we'll also recommend starting a starting tier based on your collection. Now, there was also a currency icon that looked a little bit like a couple of cards. I don't think I actually have it here at the time. Maybe I can find the icon itself. Let's have a look. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So that's the icon there, and that does look like credits. I know certain people were thinking if this is going to be tickets to actually enter the challenges. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think this is going to be currency to spend in a new store, and I think that store is going to be gear-based. I think we'll be able to buy stun guns, Chirotech, all that sort of thing, but I imagine the inflation price on this is going to be sky high. Because if the reason I say that is because somewhere here at the start, our main goal of this feature is to provide more activities for players each day. So they don't want people to to be tied down by a ticketing system. We hear players are asking for more ways to grow their roster more ways to use their growing roster of units, and want more than just a few new events that you can master quickly in Sim. Galactic Challenges is the first in a series of features that will work together to offer new ways to utilize your collection. So, because of this, I feel like it's going to be... I think that's going to be a currency that you'll be able to invest rather than tickets that you earn. So there's something else here as well that I wanted to bring up. Okay, here we go. You'll earn access to Galactic Challenges by completing daily activities. Once you've qualified to enter for the event for the day, you'll be able to play any tier, and importantly, you'll be able to play as many times as you like for that day to attempt to complete as many tiers and feats as possible. So we know that feats are going to be a part of this, as well as the tiers. Okay, so this tells me right here, you're not going to be restricted by having to use a ticketing system. To me, that says that whatever this new icon is, that is a new currency to use in a store. So what I hope doesn't happen is that they tie new characters to this store. I hope it is a simple place to alleviate the gear grind. But how about you guys? Tell me what you think. Are you excited for this? What are you excited for the most? Personally, I'm of the opinion that I think we're going to see this drop pretty soon. I'm thinking 2 weeks max. 2 weeks max. As soon as we see this in the data mine, it means that the assets are ready to be loaded into the game. Well, they're already technically in the game, so it means it's going to drop soon. I'm thinking midweek next week, maybe the week after we should see something. What do you guys think is going to come? How do you think this new currency is going to play? Let me know in the comments down below. And once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later. Peace. I'd like to give a quick shout out to all my patrons. Without your support, guys, I really wouldn't be able to keep doing what I do here. So honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart.